Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. Man, check this out. On this episode, we're going to play a game. It's a game that I saw on social media and a little meme that it really has become quite popular. It's called You Can Only Pick Five, right? So let me give you a little backdrop. So I'm scrolling through social media the other day. I think I was on Instagram, right? And I come across this meme and it says, You can only pick five, the Black Edition. And so, of course, I caught my eye. So I'm like, what is this? And I look at the meme a little bit closer. And I don't even think it was something that someone that I follow posted. I think it was just something that just popped up. And what it was a meme of 31 TV show logos, right? And so I looked at the logos and I'm like, what is this? And so what it was asking was something simple, or at least I thought. You can only pick 5 TV logos to watch for the rest of your life. Now, I'm assuming that you can't watch anything else, right? And so I was like, you know what? That's a pretty interesting game. Kind of a spinoff from One Gotta Go, but hey, everybody's been biting One Gotta Go, so it is what it is. Shout out to E. Nonetheless, I was like, you know what? I could do this. And at first glance, it looks very easy, but it's not easy at all because you have to pick only 5. And again, there's a list of 31 TV logos. And what's interesting was I found out that this meme has kind of been going around, and there were other memes like you can only pick 5 Disney TV shows, or you could only pick 5 Disney movies, and it had like a list of movies. But in this case, again, it is 5 TV shows, and they're all Black TV shows, and they're listed in no particular order. And you have to pick 5 that you would watch for the rest of your life. And again, I can only assume that you're not watching something else. So you don't want to pick something that's got only like 2 seasons. Okay. So it got me to thinking. And again, I was like, okay, I can make this a podcast. And again, I thought it would be easy. It's not easy. It's not as easy as it looks. I'll just put it like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you the list of the memes. The list of the TV shows on the meme, right? And then I'm going to come back and give you my 5. And I want everyone who's listening, if you want to participate, if you're listening on Spotify, in the comment section or in the question section, leave your 5 there. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching first and foremost, and make sure you download and subscribe. But if you're watching on YouTube, hit the comment section. Any place where you can leave a comment, because I really want to hear your feedback. If you see this on Twitter, hit me back and tell me what your 5 are. If you're a podcaster like King Germ or Baylor, y'all want to remix it. J Boog, anybody, remix it. I'm interested to hear your 5, right? Because we all have different tastes as far as TV is concerned. All right, so now that you get the gist of the game, let's get to it. Now I'm going to read to you again the 31 TV shows. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see me kind of go back and forth because it's on 2 different screens. And again, these are no particular order. Lovecraft Country, The Jamie Foxx Show, Pose, Family Matters, Kenan and Kel, That's So Raven, Moesha, Abbott Elementary, Southside, Harlem, Girlfriends, Atlanta, The Wayans Brothers, One on One, The Boondocks, Living Single, Smart Guy, Sister to Sister, Everybody Hates Chris. Insecure. Empire. Blackish. A Different World. Martin. Queen Sugar. P Valley. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The Chi. Power. My Wife and Kids. And last but not least, Snowfall. All right, so there you have the gist of the TV shows, and again, they're printed on this logo. Before I give you my 5, let me just tell you a little bit about the ones that didn't make the cut that were right there, but I couldn't put them in my starting 5. So they just barely missed the cut. Shows that I really enjoyed, throughout the years. And these are in no particular order. The Boondocks, man, listen, the Boondocks almost made my list. Almost made my list. The problem with the Boondocks is, I think after season 3, Aaron McGruder, the show's creator, was no longer on the show, and I think he got whacked. But that first season was incredible. I still got it on DVD. I don't have a DVD player, but I got it on DVD. The Martin Luther King episode, downright hilarious. Living Single barely missed the cut. I love Living Single. Those 4 ladies are incredible. That show doesn't get the props that it should get. Incredible show. Everybody Hates Chris just missed. I love Everybody Hates Chris. And what's interesting was, and I was telling Uncle Dolomite this from the Too Much Game podcast. Shout out to Uncle Dolomite. I was telling him the other day, like, I didn't watch Everybody Hates Chris when it was actually out. I found it in syndication. And what's interesting is it's a show that not only do I watch, but my kids actually love it. And we watch it together. It is downright comical. And I could just sit and watch any episode. I mean, I've seen every episode multiple times, but it's a show that ran in syndication that I just really fell in love with. Blackish. Blackish was so close. It was so close. It was on the borderline of making the cut. It almost made the cut for me. It's another family show that I watch with my kids, and my kids love it. But it just didn't make the cut. My Wife and Kids is another show. Love, very funny. Tisha Campbell, Damon Wayans, very funny. Very dope TV show. So there you have it. Those are the ones that did make the cut. So now I'm going to give you my 5, and they're not in any particular order. Number 1, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, I got this on here because The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was it's just a show, man. I mean, obviously coming into it, I was a fan of Will Smith. Fresh Prince, my man. Funny. They never had a bad year. I can't really even think of too many bad episodes or whack episodes. Fresh Prince, man, is still another one that I still watch in syndication to this day. It's a very, very good show, still funny. There's so many moments, man. Will Smith is just funny. I mean, Carlton doing his dance. Uncle Phil, rest in peace. Uncle Phil was the greatest. I love Uncle Phil, man. Just all the characters, man. It's a dope show. If you haven't seen it in a while, man, check it out. It's in syndication. It's on streaming. You can find it. Number 2, and again, these are no particular order. A Different World. Listen, I've done an episode on this particular TV series. A Different World is one of the main reasons why I chose to attend a historically Black college and university, an HBCU, for college. And that was South Carolina State University, located in the Garden City of Orangeburg, South Carolina. I am a proud alum of the class of 1996. Yeah, if it weren't for A Different World, I mean, like, and I'm not alone in saying that story because like almost everybody that I know, people that I went to school with, people who didn't go to school with me, people who went to other HBCUs. We all had this. We all say the same thing. I mean, like if it had not been for A Different World, uh, we probably it gave us the exposure as to what an HBCU would look like. A lot of similarities between South Carolina State and A Different World, Hillman College, if you will. Both located in the South, both had pretty girls. We had a pit. um, you didn't see much of. I don't even think they even mentioned Hillman's band. We got a dope band, the Marching 101. But it was a lot of similarities, and again, it gave us something to view. There was, on our campus, just like any other HBCU campus, you saw people that reminded you of Dwayne Wade. You saw people that reminded you of Whitley Gilbert, so forth and so on. Ron Johnson down the line. Those characters live forever, and there's a lot of similarities in each and every one. And while I'm not a fan of the first season wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all, especially when I initially saw it. But going from season 1 to season 2, when they basically fired everybody, brought in Debbie Allen to direct and produce, the rest is history. It took off, and love A Different. I still watch it. I watch episodes of A Different World every other day. No lie, because it's on streaming, so it's there. Number 3. That would be none other than the insane Martin Payne, aka Martin. Yeah, Martin's got to get on here. That's going to be a show that I'm going to forever watch, because Martin is just hilarious. Between the characters that he plays, from Shanae to Roscoe to King Beef, and the ever-present Jerome, the player from the Himalayas. Because Jerome let you know he was in the house. Martin is just downright comical, man. I mean, his shenanigans between him and his boys, Cole and Tommy, rest in peace, Tommy Ford, and of course his girl Gina, and him snapping on Pam. Crazy. Now, I will say this much. The last season of Martin, oh my gosh, last season was god awful. But we powered through it, man. It's funny because like when I watch the episodes now, I never go to, I think it was season 6. I think that's what it was. Season 6. Is that right? Season 6. Yeah, I don't rock with season 6. It just don't do nothing for me. And then they had their cast issues, but other than that, Martin was out of here. Love that show, and like I said, I'll still watch episodes. And I'm trying to think, do I have a favorite episode? Probably when they bought the car and they had to share the car. Oh man, that was hilarious. Outcast episode was funny. The Biggie episode was funny. But Players Ball. Let me stop. The next show, a show that I fell in love with, that would be none other than Snowfall. Listen, shout out to Franklin Saint. Man, I've done an episode on it's called 100% Chance of Snowfall. That I did that after Snowfall wrapped up its what was it, 6th season? Did they have 6 seasons or 5 seasons? I can't remember if they had 6 or 5 seasons. And I'm too lazy to look it up. Y'all tell me. But Snowfall was everything, man. Set in the mid to late 80s, in the crack era, the Ronald Reagan, Iran Contra, and it was based on a fantasy, but also based very, very heavily into reality. Franklin Saint, being a black kid from South Central LA, gets tied into the government and actually sells drugs, many kilos of cocaine every day to his neighborhood in LA, and then ventured out and he did that. And then as he did that, in return, the money that he gained was for himself and also for the federal government. And they used it to buy guns in foreign countries to fight a war. And there's a lot of truth to this, and that's one of the things I love about it. It's a drama. It's action packed. It There's no bad season. I love every season. In fact, I just recently finished rewatching it, and I rewatched it for the first time. So I saw it all the way through, in its entirety, and then I rewatched it and just finished maybe about 2 weeks ago. And the only episode I hated was that tiger episode. That tiger episode was terrible. But nah, man, Snowfall is cold as shit, man. I will say this much. The first episode, I didn't really get it. Rewatching it, I understand it now. And what was interesting was I remember seeing the first episode when it debuted, and I was like, okay, but it seemed like it was moving kind of slow. And I stopped watching it. And what happened was later on in the season, we were in the group chat and the homies, they're going back and forth, man, Franklin Saint. I was like, who is Franklin Saint? Because I didn't even stick around long enough to remember the kid's name. And it's like Snowfall. And I was like, you mean that show that I watched? Because I saw the first episode. And the first episode was okay, but it didn't blow me away. And it was like, yo, you got to go back and watch it. And so it was the talk in our group chat. And I was like, I didn't want to get left out. So I started watching. So I went back and watched episode 1 again. And I watched episode 2. And by episode 2, I was hooked. I mean, like I was like a junkie. And I caught up with the crew and I finished the first season and I was hooked ever since. But loved it, man. Yeah, that's definitely going on the list. And last but not least, at number 5, that would be none other than Insecure. Did an episode on this as well. Did one with Maya. Shout out to Maya from the We Did That Shit podcast. Need y'all to come back, Maya, but that's another story for another day. In fact, I need to get y'all back on the podcast for real. We need to do that sooner than later. Man, listen, Insecure. I got a story about Insecure. I remember I was downtown in Atlanta where I live, and I was at this light, and I got a text message. You're not supposed to be texting driving, but I'm at that light. There was a couple of cars ahead of me, and I shot the text back. And as I'm sitting at the light, I look up, and as I look up, I see this very cute brown-skinned woman on this huge billboard, and it's a pretty brown face. She's got short hair, and she's making this weird looking. Her head is kind of tilted, and then it says Insecure. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And then at the bottom it said like debuts Sunday night, March, blah 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 blah. And that was like that coming Sunday, and I was like, And I'd never seen this woman before. Never seen it before. I didn't know she had a hit internet series on YouTube. And the woman that I'm speaking of is Issa Rae. So that was my first time seeing. I didn't know who Issa was. And I watched Insecure the first night that it debuted. And when I tell you, I was hooked like crack. And it was just something different. It was something about the show. And I mentioned this, and Maya and I talked about it, like seeing these beautiful black faces, men and women, and like it just really looked like it was set in LA. It wasn't around any gangs or anything like that. It was just a different vibe. The music was cool, and I was hooked from the first episode. It was Issa's birthday, and she was hanging with her girlfriend Molly, and Issa was living with her boyfriend, and Molly didn't have a man, and it was so dope. And 5 seasons, Insecure quickly became one of my favorite all-time TV shows. I was low-key sad when it ended, but it ended the right way. And I was happy to see Issa and Lawrence get back together after all that happened. Favorite episode scene is season 4, episode 8. Check that out. Man, listen. And I've rewatched Insecure probably 3 times now. But even now, I'll watch a couple episodes a week because it's on the streaming. So, but I love it. I love Insecure, man. Insecure, I think for me, initially was the idea of Issa trying to find herself and her relationship with her boyfriend Lawrence. But as the series went on, I quickly realized that Insecure it was about Issa and trying to find herself, but it was more so about her relationship with Molly. That was the key. The relationship that was the most important one was Issa's relationship with her best friend Molly and not with her boyfriend Lawrence. And we see the twists and turns that she and Molly go through, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. And it's crazy because, and I mentioned this to Maya, like as a man, I mean, of course I remember my 30s. I'm 51 now at the time of this recording, but I remember my 30s, but I don't remember like that part of my 30s as far as being in tune with what women were going through. And, of course I was married at 30. So, but seeing these young women, young professional women, driven, beautiful, trying to find themselves, trying to find their way, trying to make an imprint on what they do in their day-to-day lives, their relationships, sex. I mean, like all of that stuff, how they correlate with each other, their friends, their sororities. And then, the pregnancy of one friend, and how that affected the group and everything. I mean, like all of the dynamics that play into that. Insecure is a phenomenal show. I recommend that you guys go see it. No bad episodes, no bad seasons. Like I said, I love watching it. And if I see an episode on, I'll say, but see, here's the thing about Insecure that is the gift and the curse. If I watch an episode, that there's one coming on right behind it. So like the gift is that these episodes are only 30 minutes, right? So you could blow through it. But the thing is, and I fell victim to this one day. You watch one episode, man, you look up, you're 5 episodes in. And you're looking at it like you're not, like you've never seen it before, and you've seen all of the scenes. And the great thing about it is that I think it's timeless. I think it's just that dope. I recommend that you all check those out. So that's my 5. If you can only pick 5, I got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I got A Different World. I got Martin. I got Snowfall. And last but not least, I have Insecure. What do you have? Again, hit me up in the comment section on YouTube. Answer the question on Spotify, the comment section, if you're listening and watching on Spotify. And yeah, it's, I think all of those are great shows. Now, I'll be honest, there's some shows on here that I've never seen before. I guess I got time to run those down. Lovecraft Country, never seen it before. Pose, I've never even heard of it before. What else? Moesha, I mentioned before, wasn't really a big fan of Moesha. I thought the show was kind of corny. I love Abbott Elementary. Southside, no. Atlanta's good. Atlanta's really good. But it's only 4 seasons. Girlfriend's super dope. I've never seen Harlem. I mentioned Boondock, Smart Guy's Sister, Everybody Hates Chris, Slackish. Queen, never seen Queen Sugar. Probably won't ever see Queen Sugar. Never seen P Valley either. I mean, and I have stars. I'm just never seen it. Never been motivated to see it. The Shy, couldn't get into it. What else? Never seen Power. Power is the talk of the town. Power, my friends, they in our group chat, they always talking about Power and episodes and all stuff like that. Never seen Power, never gonna watch an episode. Just does not visually appeal to me. So it is what it is. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for me. I am your boy 12 Kyle. This has been another edition of the 12 Kyle podcast, a bonus episode. Again, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Subscribe. Download, subscribe on YouTube, hit the like button, get the notifications. We're on all streaming platforms. We're on Twitter X. You can follow me. You can follow me on Instagram, 12 Kyle Podcast. Like I said, all streaming platforms, YouTube. Be sure to, if you'd like, if you feel so inclined, hit us up. If you want to throw a couple of dollars our way, $ TWELVEKYLE. Again, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle Podcast, where you can only pick 5. Again, I want to hear your feedback. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. Again, that's going to do it for me. I am your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000.